what I'm freaking talking about. Oh, shit, fuck. There it is. What's up, guys? Here with this week's Jeff County Fishing Report. This report's going to take a little bit different format. My boat's at Morristown Marine, getting the 20-hour service done. Pretty important on those Yamaha motors, but I didn't want to take a chance on missing this week's report. I wanted to give it to you as far as what's going on Cherokee Lake. So the water has still been coming up about 1/4 foot a day. We're at 1054 currently, about 19 foot below full pool. Water temperatures are warming up this week with the warm weather. Like, you really ought to see that water get, 61, 62 degrees, and that's really going to kick off some spawning activity. What I've seen over the last, I got out for just a little bit the past couple days, and the smallmouth are pretty much locked on. I mean, you've got some that are locked on, some that are still kind of just up cruising, but for the most part, you're going to be able to catch smallmouth on bed. And so let's talk about that. What you're looking for is big boulder rock that these fish can get down in between and spawn. My favorite bait of choice is going to be the Z-Man Ned rig. I know we talked about that on Douglas a little bit last week with the smallmouth spawning, but on Cherokee, you're really fishing those big boulder style rocks. On the lower end of the lake is kind of my favorite place to do it, but around 25E Bridge has also been good. And so you want to look for the big boulders that have a clean spot in between them, and so that's where the fish will sit, is in between those rocks. 10th ounce head is really important, and you need to have a high quality fluorocarbon leader. I like 8-pound Tatsu. I think 8-pound Tatsu is extremely abrasion resistant, and I don't think you can go wrong with that. But any high quality fluorocarbon that you can throw around those big rocks with confidence is going to be key. Another option is a wacky worm around those big rocks. I throw the TRD more than I throw a wacky worm, but a lot of people catch a ton of fish on a wacky worm. So if that's something that you have confidence in, there's no issue throwing a wacky worm. The other thing that's kind of going on is you can catch some good largemouth and smallmouth on, it's kind of an alewife deal. It's kind of just a big bait deal. The mag draft on steeper banks, or if you like, a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce spinner bait. Fish down a little deeper in the same places you'd fish those mag drafts. 45-degree banks. A good place to fish it is the Rip Rap at Cherokee Dam. It's been fishing pretty well lately. And those are two, honestly, that's the two primary techniques that I did when I went out. I also know that you can catch largemouth flipping isolated wood. They're not quite there yet, but that's something that's getting better every single day. And so if you're on the upper end of the lake, isolated laydowns, isolated stick ups, things like that, you can definitely catch some big largemouth. Your numbers on the lower end though, that TRD really seems to be king. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about how to do that, the FLW tour footage on Andrew Upshaw one, that should be exactly what's happening right now. And so I hope this helps you as far as what's going on Cherokee Lake. Hope you guys have a great week on the water. We'll be back next week with Douglas Lake Fishing Report.